day. So is he giving you a fair statement of what's going on right now? And is there any chance of an agreement to reopen the federal government anytime soon? Joining us now is Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota. Senator, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Chris, for having me.
So the audience understands you are one of the red state Democratic senators. You are in favor of keeping the government open. You just heard what the legislative director said, Mark Short. Is that the holdup? Are the Democrats playing cute with what they say they want versus what they'll fund?
No, I actually don't think so. When you look at it, there's money that's been offered for the border wall, but also for surveillance and increased technology, especially at the points of entry. You know, the thing about border security is when you actually sit down with DHS and talk about what their plan is, it's eminently reasonable, and every senator should do that. And so I think that this is kind of the pawn on the chessboard to avoid a real discussion about the dreamers. And so, you know, I'm for border security. I've been briefed on the plan.
Right.
I think they have a good plan, and I think that we all could get behind it.
Well, that's a good point you raised, Senator. Not great for the Democrats. Why would you give Trump the wall and the political win? Because he's going to call it a wall. No matter what it is, he's going to say, I delivered on the wall. The Mexico part, you know, who knows what happens with that. But why? If you have the leverage right now with the shutdown, why would you compromise your goal of helping the Dreamers as a standalone and then negotiate all these other things?
Well, actually, there's a misnomer and there's constant discussion that Democrats don't believe in security, border security. Every person who has looked at the plan from DHS, never mind the rhetoric, never mind the White House, let's deal with the professionals. And the professionals have a plan we can all get behind that is actually improves structures, but also uses technology. And to my point, puts more beef on the points of entry where most of the very dangerous and hard drugs are coming through. And so we've got a plan for border security that includes the northern border, the water or the maritime borders, and the southwest border. We ought to fund it. And that's what we did in the proposal, which is give the president exactly what he asked for in 2018.
Where is Chuck Schumer this morning in terms of which way he wants you guys to go?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're going to meet again, the Common Sense Caucus, which is a group that we pulled together, Susan Collins pulled together in 2013, that was instrumental in putting the government, getting the government back to work in 2013. We've been meeting all weekend. We've grown in numbers. We're about 23 senators right now, and I think this is a path forward. One of the problems that we have, Chris, is I think we all know what needs to be done, but trust is so distorted here, and it's been lost in the ongoing discussions and in the hardball politics that gets played in this town. We need to rebuild that trust, and I think that one thing that this group of 20-plus senators can do is begin to dialogue and to begin build back that trust so that we can get government functioning again.
Is the president helping or hurting?
You know, I think at this point, and I wouldn't say he's irrelevant. Obviously, the president's always relevant to discussions. But the Senate has to get its house in order, and the Senate has to come up with a plan. And I think that's where the focus has been, is making sure that as a group, as a deliberative body, that we are actually putting forth a proposal that can get 60 votes to reopen government.
But he shapes not only the perspective of members of his own party, but the American people as well. The American people who, while they overwhelmingly want to help Dreamers, they also want the government to be open. And this morning he is tweeting that the reason you guys, the Democrats, are shutting down the government is because you're playing to a far left base and you're powerless against them, and that you are choosing the rights and interests of illegal entrants over American citizens.
One thing I know, Chris, is that the American public wants us to work together. I wouldn't be standing here if that weren't true. A Democrat from a red state who came here saying, let's work together. Anything that divides us at this point does not offer constructive path forward. It's not particularly helpful, and it's white noise. And so we need to be very clear that the Senate as a body, as a legislative body, has an obligation, and we need to build the trust to move these issues forward. And it's not just about Dreamers. It's about Central States pensions. It is about CHIP. It is about funding caps and making sure our military has the funding they need. It's about getting back to regular order and actually appropriating as opposed to CRs, which just kick the can down the road. You know, it's interesting because one of the things the president hasn't talked about, which is the Pentagon tweeted out on Friday, they don't want CRs. CRs are incredibly damaging for the military. And so let's build the support. And I think leadership comes in all forms, and it doesn't have to just come from the White House. Let's lead in the Senate. Let's get it done. Let's have a path forward.
Words to the Americans' ears. Let's see if they can be delivered on by you guys down there today. We'll be tracking it. Senator Heitkamp, thank you.